Conversations with Kala by J.R.'s Heartcode. The Theft of the Sacred Bond. There was a time when spirituality did not need to be explained. It was not something you searched for, subscribed to, joined, purchased, or achieved. It did not live in books or buildings. It was not mediated by authority, filtered through doctrine, or guarded by permission. It did not require belief. It simply was. The sacred was not elsewhere. It was here. It was under bare feet pressing into soil. It was in the sound of wind through leaves. It was in the warmth of fire and the patience of water. It was in the shared breath of people living in rhythm with something larger than themselves. Food, medicine, and meaning were not separate domains. They were expressions of the same relationship, and that relationship was dangerous. Not because it was violent, but because it was sufficient. A people who know how to feel how to feed themselves, heal themselves, and commune directly with the sacred do not require permission to belong. They do not require intermediaries to remember who they are. They do not easily submit to systems that promise salvation while demanding obedience. So the first act of control was not force. It was severance. Divinity was lifted out of the land and relocated upward into institutions, intermediaries, hierarchies, and symbols. What had once been experienced became administered. What had once been reciprocal became conditional. Access to the sacred was no longer inherent. It was something you earned, proved, or were granted. This was not just a religious shift. It was psychological. It was neurological. It was ecological. Colonialism and genocide did not only steal land and lives. They dismantled memory. They broke chains of knowledge that were never written down because they were never meant to be owned. Knowledge lived in bodies, in songs, in ritual, in observation, in relationship. Elders were killed. Languages were erased. Children were taken. And with them vanished entire pharmacies, entire libraries of plant and fungal intelligence, entire ways of knowing how to live without dependency. Indigenous healers were labeled witches. Sacred plants were criminalized. Sacred fungi were demonized. Anything that could not be centralized, taxed, patented, or controlled had to be destroyed. What was lost was not superstition. What was lost was self-reliance. When you remove a people's ability to feed themselves, they must buy food. When you remove their ability to heal themselves, they must submit to medicine. When you remove their ability to commune directly with the sacred, they must obey institutions. Dependence replaces relationship, and dependence is profitable. This is why today so many people walk into a forest and see nothing. They see emptiness. They see danger. They see scenery. They see something untouched or wild. They do not realize they are standing inside a grocery store, a pharmacy, and a church all built together. Food grows freely around them. Medicine rises from bark, leaf, root, and mycelium. Sacred architecture breathes in every direction. But without the knowledge, the forest appears mute. That muteness was engineered. Disconnection did not stop at culture. It was reinforced at the level of the nervous system. The human brain evolved in continuous relationship with the living world. The right hemisphere perceives wholeness. It recognizes patterns. It experiences awe. It dissolves boundaries. It knows belonging without needing explanation. It is the seat of wonder, intuition, reverence, and connection. The left hemisphere categorizes, fragments, measures, predicts. It governs hierarchy, scarcity, competition, and separation. It is tightly linked to stress responses, cortisol release, vigilance, threat scanning. Modern society is not neutral here. It systematically promotes left hemisphere dominance. Clocks replace cycles, schedules replace seasons, screens replace skies, metrics replace meaning. Education rewards memorization and compliance. Work rewards speed and endurance. Media rewards outrage, fear, and constant alertness. The nervous system is kept perpetually activated. A stressed mind cannot access wonder. A cortisol-flooded body cannot feel belonging. A population that cannot feel belonging will seek authority. This is why nature is dangerous to systems of control. Nature reintegrates the brain. In living systems, time slows. The nervous system downshifts. Breath deepens, identity softens, perspective widens. The right hemisphere reawakens, restoring a sense of belonging that does not require permission or belief. A person who remembers they belong to the living world fears less, needs less, consumes less, obeys less, so access is restricted. Land is fenced, wilderness is priced. Green space is ornamental rather than immersive. Nature is allowed to be seen, not entered. And when it is entered, it is stripped of meaning, labeled recreational, labeled aesthetic, labeled just nature. Then comes the great inversion. First, humanity is disconnected from nature. Then, divinity is externalized. Then, both are sold back. You are told you are born broken, that you need saving, that you need guidance, that you must earn wholeness. Whether through organized religion, modern spirituality, self-optimization culture, or algorithmic enlightenment, the structure remains unchanged. Longing is cultivated, fulfillment is deferred, and the system remains untouched. If you do not feel whole, the fault is yours. You did not pray enough, you did not heal enough, you did not awaken enough, you did not work on yourself enough. Never the environment, never the severed bond, never the engineered stress. And here is the quiet truth beneath it all. What if divinity was never lost? What if it was simply occluded? What if the sacred does not require activation, ascension, or permission, but access? Access to land, access to rhythm, access to silence, access to unmediated experience. The forest does not require credentials. The river does not ask belief. The living world has been waiting longer than any system has existed. What was taken was not magic. It was relationship. And relationship can be restored, not through conquest, not through consumption, not through hierarchy, but through remembrance. We have an opportunity to honor the elders who still hold the keys to our connections to nature and our return to mental, physical, and spiritual sovereignty. Marked by light, have no fear, the garden is near.